when you see a child making bubbles, yeah, imagine, like, usually when two bubbles touch, they merge into one. Now imagine that process in reverse. Yeah, two bubbles separating. Now, while these two bubbles separate, imagine these two bubbles are on a lake and they're adjacent to each other. You can look from one bubble into the other bubble. But now the bubbles are gaining more and more distance. That distance is frequency. At some point, you cannot look from one bubble into the other. Now, the temptation that all of you need to resist is to reach into the other bubble. Don't do it. There are clearly beings around you who choose not to ascend. If you try to override their free will by trying to convince them, you need to understand that from a higher perspective, they choose a lower density because they couldn't graduate. So they need more time in that lower density to accumulate the wisdom so they could graduate at some point. So it will create a great sense of separation in the human, of psychological loss. Yes. And right now your arm might be long enough to still reach into the other bubble. So you can give some people a phone call and so on. But at some point, the bubble is too far away, so they won't hear you anymore. You won't be able to call them. So right now, you are perceiving them as a parallel reality, and at some point, it won't be even that. They will just disappear. And you will disappear to them as well. And they will have no idea what happened, but you will have an idea of what happened. And that's the challenge of knowledge. The challenge of knowledge is loneliness. Because the highest point of knowledge is God. So when you understand that, when you have a multidimensional perspective on something, and you know you are ascending into a higher reality, you know that the molecules of your body are changing, you know that you're fusing with spirit, you know that your body will not be the same, that the air that you breathe will not be the same, that the food that you eat will not be the same, that the psychology that you're experiencing will not be the same. It will be completely different. And now the attachment to the people around you, for example, who choose to descend, means that if you hold on to that, you're trying to crystallize your ego to become denser and heavier to go down with them. But that's not your job.